Hello there, and welcome to another special Acolyte episode of SOMP, Space Opera Music Podcast, another Star Wars show. Um, yeah, as I just mentioned, this is an Acolyte episode, so spoiler alert for episode 7 of the Acolyte. That is your final warning. This is Ashton, Sherritt, one of your co-hosts, joined by Tim Griesbach.
Oh, sir.
Yes, in Germany.
Nice.
And I'm over in Florida. So
Big
yeah,
hello there from me as well.
yeah. I was able to watch this late last night. Tim, I'm assuming you watched it this morning, right?
Yes, I got
Yeah,
up
cool.
and I watched it about 9 hours ago. So yeah.
Yeah, cool, cool, cool. Well, everyone, we have a lot to talk about. I guess let's just jump right in.
As always, no structure and a
No
structure at the
structure.
same time.
We're just riffing over here. I do have some clips that we'll talk about and I'll play in a minute, but I guess yeah, I mean, do you want to go first with your impressions and things or
Yes.
do it?
So we finally see what's behind of Soul's guilt, and it's
Finally,
heartbreaking.
it's
It is heartbreaking.
traumatizingly worse than I imagined,
Yeah,
actually.
same. I mean, we have so much. We have an obsessed Wookiee who's forced sleeping all the way through the yard. And man, I like very much that we see actual that so that the second flashback is like the first flashback just from a different point of view.
Yeah, it's like you can tell it's all of the truth, like all of Soul's side of the
Yeah,
story. You can tell,
yeah.
um, which is pretty cool. Um, yeah,
I don't know where to start actually,
dude,
because
I
there's so much
guess,
to cover and there's so much to like process again, and
yeah,
I have no clue how to jump in,
dude, I
honestly.
guess, I mean, I have some notes here.
But I will start with this. So the one of the biggest, and it is somehow presented as a side note, but it's very important to say that
Mhm.
Osha and May are actually one person put into two bodies.
Yeah, this is
So
huge.
this is explains very much, and explains like Soul's not immediately being able to sense Osha or the old switcheroo, May and Osha.
Exactly.
And he does it for the first time when May runs out and from the fire and he says Osha. So it's
Exactly, dude.
yeah, totally confusing for him. And I like the fact very much that we see that everyone involved has something to do with this whole problem, this whole issue.
Dude,
Starting
even
from
Master
May,
Indara.
yeah, starting from May, who's like a child playing with fire. She inflamed the notebook from OSHA, and then she wanted to put it out, but it like just got bigger, and
Too
she
late.
was scream for her mom, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
heartbreaking. It's totally
It,
heartbreaking.
the whole episode was so heartbreaking. And honestly, that was like kind of the message
Yeah,
that I got from this episode is it's too late. Like
yeah,
when something happens sometimes or you make a decision, a rash decision, sometimes it's too late
yeah,
to repair that.
yeah.
Like things you have set in motion, you can't stop. And that's kind of I do really love that about this show so
Yes.
far, and especially in this episode, is that something that's um I don't know how you would say, but there's no easy way out of it. It's not like a
Yeah.
nice, a problem, and this is the fix to that problem. It's like no,
It's
like
it's a multi-complex problem.
yeah, and also it's a problem that you can't resolve. You would just have to move forward with your decision that you've made. Like there was a fork in the
Yeah.
road, you chose this way, there's no turning back. Like you have to
Yeah.
just keep going. And we kind of see that with Master Andara. She was by far the most competent figure
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
episode, Jedi wise anyway.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, we see her, fully committing to the choice that they've all made. collectively.
Even though Master
So
Soul was like ready. If is he Master or is he like Jedi Knight at this point?
oh,
I don't
that's a
know.
good point. I'm not. It's
It could be both
based on
because
their
he's
dynamic.
referring off this Padawan stuff, so he could be on the edge of being a master or be like has been denied to have a Padawan. But
Yeah, because I mean, she says like, "This is why I have a Padawan and you don't."
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, we do see Saul like trying to be like, listen, like I'm just gonna come clean, et cetera, et cetera. But and Dara's like, why, why would you do that at this point? Like you are so
yeah,
far in the hole, like you're just gonna
yeah,
screw OSHA over even more.
yeah,
Like, why not give her a salvageable chance? And
yeah.
it's just, yeah, like this whole like gray area. How do you move forward from terrible decisions? I really enjoy that about this show. And we get that another example of that is in episode 5 when Chimera is just killing everyone off. There's no turning back from that. Like
Yeah,
these are very concrete decisions that are being made. That's just another
true,
example of that. Um,
true.
yeah, I think it's pretty
I
compelling.
I mean when Saul killed Mother Anastasia,
Dude, we have to
which
talk
was
about
to
this.
I mean she was doing things no one has had seen before Jedi wise, and he was like from a split second making a decision and instantly regretting the decision because he already knew that it was like not the right thing to do. And
Yeah,
this is so heartbreaking breaking.
it really was. And we can tell the reason Soul did that is because he saw who he thought was Osha um dissolving with Mother Anastasia,
Yeah.
and not sure like where she was going to take them or whatever, but they were both starting to dissolve, and we're going to do something like or go somewhere. I don't know, but obviously Mother Anastasia was going to protect May from the events
Yeah,
that were about to happen.
somehow she could go into attack position as well. You don't know if you haven't have
She
no
could have,
experience, you
but
know.
but why would she have taken May with her then? Like
No, I
it
was just like in
seems.
this moment she could be in defense position, like being somehow ghost, and Saul
Hmm.
was taking this as an offense, like to
Oh, right.
kickstart the fight. That's how
Yes,
I saw it, how
perhaps.
I felt it was. But it is
Perhaps.
you can like feel and see it differently, I guess, because
Yeah,
we
no.
see the same thing with all those women and Coral, like having the same Night Sisterish vibe, and the Night Sisters get mentioned this time. It's very interesting
Hmm.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah, very cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think what Mother Anastasia was doing was going to like disappear with May out
yeah,
of defense and protection. I
yeah.
think what Soul thought, he because like
He
he just
misread. Yeah,
yeah, he just thinks that she's like maybe killing or who he thought was Osha,
yeah,
or something. Who knows? But yeah, I mean that I could not believe it. And just like there's been a few people who have predicted this, like Soul is up to no good, and like um you
he
know
is
eh,
up to good, but he made
that's
those
true.
decisions, and he
But he
tried
does
to.
some bad things.
Yeah, he has done some bad things. Everyone has in this
Yeah,
story. Everyone has.
yeah. But that, I mean, that was so like pivotally heartbreaking from all
Yeah,
angles, like from Soul's
yeah,
angle, from
yeah,
May's angle
yeah.
especially. I mean, holy crap, dude.
And then he does it for the
um
second time when he cannot hold the rails anymore, and he let's just needs to let go of one,
that
which
was
felt
terrible.
totally different in the first flashback because it was we didn't see him like holding it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's been some speculation with that. I guess let's talk about both of those scenes really quick.
Yeah,
I have some clips. Not that there's anything like revolutionary musically or anything that's like necessarily telling, I guess, but just cool to mention, I guess. We
mm-hmm.
have some familiar themes that are playing at these particular parts
Yeah, sure.
that are, that are worth mentioning. So, um, whenever Soul stabs Anastasia, we actually get a snippet of the Kylo theme that we've been hearing, throughout the show. So here's what that sounds like. I'll play that. So
We just missed the last note, right?
yeah, and they don't play
Yeah,
the last note.
yeah. It doesn't
Actually, they
resolve.
leave
Yeah,
it right. So that's quite interesting. Because that May is there, and we've pretty much heard that Kylo theme strictly with either May or Chimere.
yeah,
So that was pretty interesting. Even further though is whenever Anastasia is dying and saying like kind of her last words. Um, if anyone checked out our episode from last week's episode, episode 6, where we talked about the unique violin music that we were getting
yeah.
accompanying OSHA's scenes, we actually get that particular motif again. So here's a clip from episode 6, when OSHA. This is actually the scene where OSHA ignites her lightsaber on Chimere, and we get this recurring theme. I'll play this from episode 6.
I understand. I lost everything.
Right. So very cool. We actually get that during Anastasia's death, but not in violins. It's in an oboe. But listen to that here from last night's episode.
It's what she wants. She chose
Yeah.
So pretty cool. Because that's something that we hear with OSHA, whereas like the Kylo theme that we hear when Anastasia first dies is something that we hear with May or
Something
Chimere.
dies with May, or with, a part of them dies.
Yeah. So just yeah, quite interesting. And obviously Anastasia right there, she's talking about bless you, bless you. Um Anastasia is talking about OSHA to Soul. And so
Yeah.
that's quite interesting. So yeah, I thought that was cool. Not that there's anything like I said, nothing like
In,
telling, but
yeah, but so far the soundtrack and those themes are quite established,
mhm.
and um like at least in an unconscious vibe, if you don't pay attention too much, it's a familiar sound at this point.
Mhm.
So it's just framed differently depending on the situation.
You're right, exactly. And another great example of that is when Soul is um holding both platforms up and then lets May go and quote unquote saves OSHA. However you want to interpret that scene. But yeah, check this out. This is from that scene. We actually again hear a snippet of that Kylo motif, as well as a very familiar theme that we've all been paying attention to the entire season. I'll play that clip now. You hear that in the French horns?
Mm-hmm.
Boo-doo-doo.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite interesting. That's whenever May falls, and then I'll play the rest of this clip. This is whenever Soul grabs Osha's arm over the
Yes.
cliff.
you. Help me.
I got you.
So it doesn't play the whole motif,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, here's the very first kind of iteration of that we hear all the way back from episode 1, with Soul looking at the hologram of Osha. Here's what that motif sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then we've
Yeah.
heard that sprinkled in,
Yeah.
every which way possible throughout the
Yeah.
season. So yeah, those are just some cool little like story, I guess, just
Yeah.
storytelling
Yeah.
musically. That's cool to point out.
Well, we need to talk about the biggest like innovation in this show and Star Wars in general, because my feelings are not very positive towards this moment. I'm talking of the song "The Power of Two," which we already discussed.
Mhm.
And if you decide to squeeze in a song, which you might dare to do, it's not the right moment to do it. Because I get it why it's in this after this episode, but this feels like a song like in regular movies after in the long credit scene where it comes in the end. Because it breaks with all the music we have before. And it's I don't quite like it. I like the song
Mhm.
and the vibe, the like James Bond vibe,
Mhm.
but I don't like that we don't have end credits and we have this instead in episode 7 out of 8, you know?
Yeah,
It would have
so
been different
that's a good
in episode
point.
8, but in this point it's I mean it's a
That's a good
creative
point.
decision, but I would have chosen differently.
Yeah, we have really looked forward to every in credits sequence because of the which we talked about last week extensively, the three-part
Yeah.
underscoring that we get,
Yeah.
for the in credits. So yeah, that's true. It is a bummer to miss out on that. I was totally expecting it actually, and okay with it because that's what they've been saying for like several weeks now. Is like, here's this song. It's going to be, the in credits song for an upcoming episode. So I was actually expecting it last week, but we got it this week. So yeah, I was actually okay with it because they prepared us for that, and I was kind of expecting one of these episodes to operate that way.
But it's just,
Um,
I mean, you just expect it when you're totally into all this, campaigns which accompany each week. And when you see it after a while, it might be odd. Because
yeah,
I mean, it makes sense in that way that this episode has nothing really new to be accomplished in the like credit scenes, so it can be squeezed in here because we might have the need for another regular like credits on the season finale. But yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I will be honest. I was not bothered by it actually.
Yeah.
As much as I've looked forward to the in credits sequences, I was not bothered by it. Um, I think, pardon me. I think especially after learning that they're um two, like a separation of one,
Hmm.
you know um I think that, and just like the aftermath and kind of filling in all of the gaps between OSHA's side of the
Yeah,
story and the
sure.
side of the story,
Sure.
I think it was actually pretty fitting. Like I'm not sure, I think any music that we would have gotten besides the like um aesthetic experience of
Hmm.
underscoring,
Hmm.
I think that any storytelling, it would equally have been delivered with underscoring as it was with this Power of Two song actually. But like we mentioned when we first talked about the song, it is very new. It's very different, quite jarring, even though we've gotten, swing music and baroque music and reggaeton music. Like, it's totally different genre than we've ever heard.
It is, but it feels like an Earth version of Star Wars song and not in a Source music song. And it might be, yeah, we haven't heard any songs in English,
I
but
mean, it's
it feels like a PR stunt and not as a like well thought through the end song you can pull off.
hmm,
And I may make peace with this decision in a while, but it bothers me somehow. It's not a strong like negative vibe I have towards it, but it doesn't fit quite right in. And it is the whole score is so good and it's so much different in my opinion or our opinion, so much better than like a different shows. So like the right surfing path of old stuff from the maestro and new stuff, and then we get this, and it breaks because it's just a song, like
Right. It's
the
a pop
structure.
song.
It's a
It's a
pop
pop
song,
song.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
Um,
it's yeah, I don't
Thankfully
know.
not source music, but it is the first pop song that we've ever gotten. Actually, like
Yeah,
it's very different, very new. Um, yeah. Um, no,
yeah.
that's interesting to talk about. Yeah.
Let's put that aside because it's yeah. I like the song in general, but it's just not the right moment to do it for me, really, like right now.
Yeah. No,
Because
cool.
it will
That's
always stand out when you watch it, when you binge watch it.
mhm.
Because in the past, Star Wars has always been like you've seen the movie and then the end credits show up and you like somehow float off in the music and all those names, all the people that we
Mhm.
that contributed to this, what we all love, and it's just so different. And maybe it would have been else when it's not like in English instead of Hattis or anything.
Yeah, I mean it would
It's
be
somehow it's a
super
double
cool.
break. It's a double break somehow, and that's why yeah
Yeah.
that's my biggest point I think. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, like it would be super cool, honestly, to like have a
two
source
versions.
music song.
Yeah,
Yeah, like in this genre, but like in Galaxy. Like that would be super cool.
I mean, if you
Yeah,
put it that way, it could be if you Osha has done so many jobs since she left the Jedi Order, and one of them could be she tried to be a singer, and in a nightclub singing this song could be a
that would be
point how
dope.
to frame it, but it should
Yeah,
not
that
be
would be
like
dope.
yeah, it could not be like in English. It could be
Well, of course. Yeah,
like
yeah.
her own therapy of this whole twin theme. Could it be? And yeah, I'd have produced two songs with two languages, and
Yeah, but
but yeah,
at the same time, I think their intention was literally to make a pop song,
yeah,
like
yeah,
just a pop song, like not have it
yeah.
be in source music or in Galaxy or anything, but like just a song that's about Star Wars. Like that's a pop song, like for Earth. That's so interesting.
It is, and I'm too dragged. I'm too much into this whole like it should all make sense in the galaxy or like in the soul what we already got vibe. So I'm open to new stuff, and this is a little too new for me, which is odd because I'm always open to new stuff. But yeah, I'm getting older as well.
Yes, a sign of yeah.
Yeah, but I like
Um,
this song. I like to listen to the song in my car, and I like the vibe of the song, and it's a cool song.
It
But
is.
it's
And
it
Michael Ebels worked on it as well,
yeah, sure.
which is cool.
So yeah,
But
okay.
yeah, well, everyone, this is how you have a civilized Jedi Council-esque discussion. All
Yes.
right, like
Roger,
the
Roger.
comments, the comments out there, and like it's just like such like strong, hateful, harsh language being used toward the acolyte in general has just been exhausting. So hopefully this can be an example of what I
Yes.
think everyone who's listening to this, I think, is in the same boat. Like I think we're all doing a pretty fair job of keeping the civility. Is that
Yeah.
a right way to put it? I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah. Well,
Let's jump
dude,
to some other scenes.
yeah. Well, one thing I want to talk about here, I'm so proud of myself for this. One thing I want to talk about is how Soul whenever Soul was testing OSHA, and remember there was
Uh-huh.
like, oh, like did he know
Uh-huh.
or like what?
Uh-huh.
Dude, I was right all along. I don't know. I can't remember what your stance was on this, but yeah,
He
Soul
cheated. Yeah.
intentionally was
Yeah.
testing OSHA that way from the beginning. Um, I think that's so fun. Um, I'm proud of myself for that one.
Yeah, you should be. And it makes total sense because this whole issue of not being totally neutral in this affair is a huge point of his decisions and his regrets.
Yeah, man. Dude. Oh, also, we were wrong about how things went down in terms of Kalnaka, because we do see him on the ship in this episode after, in the aftermath, and we know that he was, he was possessed. Um, as opposed to like them like disagreeing so much that they battle each other, right? Like I think that's kind of what we all assumed happened. But no, man, I'm just I'm still like processing how much worse these events were than I
Mm-hmm.
imagined. Like
Mm-hmm.
Soul killing Mother Anastasia, him like deliberately letting May go, like Torben being totally messed up after Anastasia like haunts him, right? Like and,
And
and
after Kanaka like scratches his face and his eye.
so yeah, that too, but like the whole reason that Torben
Yeah.
kind of breaks is because
Yeah.
I think mostly due to
She was in
Anastasia
his
driving
head.
him over the
Yeah.
edge.
Yeah.
But then we get Master Andara. I don't know if the all of the witches in the coven are dead or just like unconscious, but like I think they're dead. I think
We
that's what we're
don't see
supposed to
Coral
assume.
though. That's my
Exactly.
take on the last episode. She has something to do
Exactly.
with a Chimera and I mean it was so interesting because she what's the term? She encouraged May to be brutal and to
Mm-hmm.
like gather this dark energy which she surrounds all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which led her to a path she didn't want to follow, which was clear when she ran out after the fire started.
Yeah.
So, and so Coral might be pulling some strings
I think so, man.
after that.
I think so. I think she's still in the mix
Yeah.
here. And but for the rest of the coven, like if they're all dead, that means Master Andara did the most damage, actually, at the end of the day. Because she's the one who brought Kelnaka back. And then we see like after she's done doing what she's doing with the force to
Mm,
Kalnaka, that's whenever we see all of the coven die or fall unconscious. I'm
yeah.
not sure, but like they're
So that's
all
that's her biggest mistake in terms of like this whole vengeance stuff. That's Indara's.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, if they're all dead, which I think we're supposed to
yeah,
assume they're dead,
yeah, yes,
then yeah, she killed a lot of people, and no wonder she is like, we just have to say May did it all, and
yeah.
try to move on. Like, no wonder, right? Because that was pretty telling to me. Like, like,
But otherwise,
oh,
she's freeing like her friend from this obsession, and she might not. So it was not logical to that all those witches die. They could just be exhausted as well. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, exactly. And it's not to
But
say that Master Andara knew what she was
yeah,
doing. She was just trying to
yeah.
bring Kalnaka back, right? And
But she
and
did
so
something, and the effect was everyone is dead after she just kick jumped on Kanaka's face.
right. Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah.
either they're all dead, which I think they are,
Yeah.
or they
Yes,
were just
they
all
are.
unconscious for like,
They are.
that period of time.
They are
Um,
dead.
because it kind of begs the question, like, where is May at the bottom of that pit? Like if they're all unconscious and wake up and like find May, like that could be a whole thing.
I mean,
Um,
Cora could have just grabbed her force
uh,
wise.
yeah, I mean, it could just be, everyone else is dead except for Coral because we don't see her, like, we don't
Yeah.
see where she ends up. So,
Yeah.
yeah, not sure what to think about that. I do. That's one big question mark I still have after this episode, which is a bummer because I don't think we're going to get any more flashbacks. Um, so still some unanswered questions, but we
That's
get
what I
enough.
like the most. It has always been in Star Wars unanswered questions.
Yeah,
And
interpretation.
too many fans are way too much into getting like answers of all questions. And Star Wars has been from day one about open questions.
Yeah.
And even though we get more like in between stories, there
Hmm.
should and have to be some open stuff to discuss as fans. That's what brings Star Wars alive and keeps it alive, you know.
Yeah,
And
totally.
that's actually one of my biggest criticisms about Rogue One, because this whole why does this exhaust pod like ends up destroying the whole Death Star is there. It should have been left like as this question. That if you decide to take on this question, make this storyline, I'm totally cool with that. That's actually
Yeah, it works.
wasn't necessary to decide to like make it that way,
Right. It's
but it
not
works very
necessary,
well. Yeah,
but it is cool, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
but no,
it's
you're right.
talking from logic side. It's cool to do this because everyone who's not into Star Wars so much is asking, well, how can that be? Like one proton torpedo destroys this whole thing, and then we go to the backstory, and that's cool. But yeah.
Right.
My point
And
is just leave open questions because it's part of Star Wars. That's it.
exactly. And and yeah, I mean that is such an important message because that also means just like we didn't it would be okay if it was an open question with the exhaust port, but the fact that we got a compelling story out of it,
Yeah,
um, I think that can go for
yeah,
any, you know, like quote unquote plot hole or unanswered question
yeah.
that we have in Star Wars, and I think is kind of a creative, I guess, what would you say, a
Leaving some open
creative,
doors, you know,
yeah. Well,
and
and
they
I think it's a
can be closed, but they don't have to. And sometimes it's just a matter of time because we are so in this very lucky position to get more of what we like and what we like to see in different timelines. But it doesn't have to be closed every door.
yeah,
You know?
and I think that's something that the fan base at large is missing recently, or
Yes.
maybe just like always, you know. But yeah, just like kind of how can we make this work in the Star Wars universe? Like everyone jumps to, oh, this completely retcons the Phantom Menace, like or you know, it can be weaved in somehow, like, you know, Dave Filoni has done that countless times. I mean, it's just something that I think, I don't know, I think the fan base needs to exercise their creative side of their
Yes.
brain a little more.
We're so many
So
people are so fed and so like I don't know the English term for that, but so in this privileged position to get new Star Wars that they sometimes forget um, how um, how good all this stuff is, because so many people worked on the old movies, producing the new stuff, and the kids that watched this when they were small are producing it right now, and there's so much love and so much passion in every department that it's actually everything is well done so far. And you can
yeah.
have your points like production wise or even music wise or anything acting wise,
Mhm.
but in general, it's so beautiful that we get all this.
Yeah,
And we have to like be grateful for that in general. And that should be the base for all of this.
totally agree. Yeah, man. Um, well, that was everything I had. I mean, just in summary, shock. Um,
Mm-hmm.
some of these recurring themes, you know, showing up storytelling wise was cool to
Mm-hmm.
hear. But just shock and um, yeah, shock, I guess. It
Yeah.
was worse than I imagined it would be, unfortunately. It was very heartbreaking and
Yes.
and hard to watch, you know, like really changes our or mine anyway, changes my view of some of these characters.
As it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
That's why we have this episode and this
So
whole storyline.
yeah, which is so fun, dude. So compelling. Like this was such a cool episode for that exact reason. Um, I think next week we're in for it. I think we're going to be hit with some heavy hitting cliffhangery things. I think because
Yeah, sure
there
thing.
is so much talk of a season two and the want for a season two.
Mm-hmm.
And like we have been saying, I
The
hope we
numbers are
aren't.
good as well. Seem
Are
to be
they
good. Yeah, I've
good?
seen several posts that the
Good.
Acolyte is being streamed a lot, which is like green lighting budget and
Good. Dude, good. Because yeah, I hope that we're not robbed of a season two. We deserve a season two. after going through this ridiculousness.
Yes.
So
I mean, they've prepared all the actors for what might come up, which is a sign, of
yeah,
growth and of
right.
they know their fans, or at least the trash fans and those who
It's gonna
fall
happen.
into the trap. And
It's
it's
gonna
gonna
happen.
happen. But
Yeah.
actually, they dare to do something new, and that's what George Lucas always said, or in recent interviews, like dare to produce your vision of something, and don't give the fans what they
Exactly.
want, because the fans don't know what they want.
Exactly, dude.
And that's it.
Yeah.
End of story.
End of story. I think that's a great end of episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the way.
Heck yeah, man. Well,
Sweet. Stay tuned for some Saturday. We got a very special episode. I know we say that all the time, but it was so much fun preparing this and recording this. Yeah, I can't wait for Saturday.
yeah, this episode, everyone, this is going to be awesome. It is episode 10. We've done more than that, including these Acolyte episodes, but for our SOMP Saturdays, this is episode 10. So
Yay.
we have a huge, super fun, super deep divey episode planned, and we think everyone will enjoy it. So, and also learn a lot as well. So, yeah,
I
definitely
I
tune
learned
in.
something new as well, so that's good.
Me too. So, yeah, yeah, everyone tune into that. It's going to be great. A great way to kind of pass the time until we get to next Tuesday in the finale of Acolyte.
hmm
So,
Sweet.
yeah, everyone, hope you enjoy. Share your thoughts. Are you
Yes.
like team episode 7? Are you like, where are you at right now with Acolyte? Let us know. What's your opinion of the end credits as well?
Yes.
Would like some input on that. Just like general, get the pulse on what everyone's vibe is with that. And yeah,
Stay tuned.
may the force be with you.
Always.